I'm about to race Ironman 70.3 Elsinore in a bid to qualify for the 2025 World Championships. There we go, I have just said that out loud. There's something quite real and affirming about hearing myself say it, but it also makes me realize that it is very much a bold and maybe slightly over-ambitious goal. But there is a reason that I've chosen this race. Firstly, a huge thank you to Rouvy and HumanGo for their support so far on this journey, because support is definitely needed. Now, training has been different. I mean, technically, I've had over a year to get ready for this, so I should be flying. But things have changed somewhat. I have different priorities, I have less time, and since Magnus has come along, well, I've had to train smarter, not longer. And the bike leg is definitely the bit that I am most unsure about. But with time being so limited, I have really heavily relied on indoor training, and I have done the majority of my training on Rouvy. And it's amazing how you can get a lot out of 30 minutes, because admittedly, most of my sessions have just been 30 minutes. I have obviously got outside for a few spins to just top it up, but to say that I have left every stone unturned going into this would be a lie. So let's see how I get on. I can't believe this is going to be my third triathlon of the year. I've been really lucky that I got to race in Abu Dhabi and Taiwan back in April, but they were very much just about completing the event. It's relit my fire, but it was super hot, I wasn't fit, wasn't prepared, and I just went and did them and had some fun. This one is different. I have one mission: to race at the 70.3 Ironman World Championships in Marbella this November. Now, the qualification period ends this weekend, so it is very much my last chance to qualify. And I haven't just chosen any old race. This event has a total of 50 qualification slots across the men and the women. And then, this is the important part, it has an extra 25 slots under the Women for Tri scheme that are awarded across all the age groups just for women. And I am unashamedly happy to admit that I am making the most of being a woman right now. I don't know how many slots are going to be awarded to my age group. I just hope that it is enough. And I'm also hoping that all the other women out there don't have the same tactic as me. There's nothing more I can do, but it's really not helping with my race day nerves. It's a rolling start, so I'm going to have no idea who I'm racing. It's more of a race against myself. I now know that I've just got to keep pushing until the end. The swim is set inside Elsinore Harbour, starting just in front of the historic Kronborg Castle. To make up the 1.9k distance, there are numerous turns around the buoy markers. I've tried my best to memorise it, but hopefully I'm going to be following the swimmers in front. The bike course, well, that's a flowing 90k with just 500 metres of elevation. It heads north away from Elsinore along the coastline of northern Sealand. Just before Hornbeck City, it takes a left into the countryside for 2 anti-clockwise loops. After the second lap, it's back along the coast and into T2. And then it's the final push, 21k of running along the crowd-lined streets of Elsinore. A total 3.5 laps that start by circling Kronborg Castle before twisting through the city centre. I had so many doubts ahead of this event for many reasons, of like the long-term picture of the fact that, you know, I haven't trained hard, like properly, what I think is hard, for 2 years, since like I got pregnant. It was a massive shock as I hit the water. I was like, oh, I didn't realize how cold it was, which was probably a good thing for me. But then I also started going through all the things I hadn't prepared for. And I've so not got used to swimming in a big group of people. Like I really hated that. It was obviously a lot colder than I expected. I knew the route from looking at it the day before, but it was 1.9K of quite a wiggly route around the harbour. So I thought, oh, well, there wouldn't be too much chop, but actually it was way choppier than expected. And they were letting everyone out in waves of 3, so it was rolling start, which I thought, that'll be nice. You have to self-seed, which I always find difficult because I kind of never quite know where I'm at, and also how other people judge themselves. And it turned out at the start, I was like, oh, I'm way overestimated because everyone was quicker than me. And I was like, oh, I put myself in the wrong wave. But then after the first few 100 meters, it was the other way around. And I was sort of just trying my best to go round the outside of everyone. I was like, I don't want to get involved in any of this scrappiness. The next thing that got me were the jellyfish. And I was like, I stupidly put a post up the day before and loads of people messaged me about it. Most were really reassuring, but some were like, oh, there were loads when I did it last year, or, oh my God, you're lucky there's only a few. But then they were like, they're not stingers. And I was like, so it's just in my head, like what? They're just horrible things. And the first one that touched me, I did actually scream, think out loud. And I know I'm supposed to give people confidence about the swim, but I just found it hard. Felt a big relief from getting out of that water, and yeah, it was weird. I felt like maybe I'm not a triathlete anymore. Like I genuinely was going through in my head of like, I don't like triathlon. I don't want to do another triathlon, and I still had 2 more phases to go. So, but I also think getting out of the swim and you're seeing people and you're talking to people and seeing the cameraman and stuff, it actually then just brings you out of your own head again. And I'm like, okay, I'm fine. This is just swim, bike and run. Like I can do this. This is simple. And didn't rush, took my time to transition, but trying to be methodical, but with a different mindset that this I'm racing today, even though I don't know how much my body can push. So it was trying to go with like, just keep that in your mind, like no dawdling, because I can't procrastinate. Yeah, out onto the bike. And then I'm relatively new to this bike, so it was like, oh, how much can my body hold this position? And I set off and I was like, just kind of got into my groove, and I looked at my bike computer. I was like, oh, I'm putting out way more power than I expected. My FTP is around, I haven't done a test, but it's around 160. So I was like, well, that means for half I should be holding about 130 watts. And yeah, I looked at it and I was like, oh, my average was 162. And I was like, oh, but it feels okay, which I was really shocked at. Every time a woman came past me, like a little bit of me just went like, oh, I'm delusional thinking I can get to Worlds. Like, because when these women just fly past me, I'm just like, who am I to think that like I can race with them? And like almost that I also don't deserve to qualify because I haven't done that much training. And then I started reflecting on the last time I went to World Championships was when literally the channel just launched. So back in 2017, and it was my first Ironman branded 70.3. I went and raced it just as a really last minute race, just for fun. Like I didn't even have Worlds on my radar, and I won my age group. And it was so, like, it just happened. And it's such a different concept this time of going with this mission, which I've never done. I've never tried to, like, as a triathlete age grouper, to like have this mission in my mind. And I was like, it's weird because I had people passing me going, oh, almost feeling like, not angry at them, but like, oh, they're beating me, that's not fair. But then on the other hand, I was like, what do I expect? Like, come on, Heather, don't be so stupid. Like, it's, you've hardly trained on your bike. You've been doing half-hour turbo sessions. One of my main missions would be strict with my nutrition, and I was really chuffed. I aimed high, and I met somewhere in the middle of managed some chews early on, and then drinking was my biggest problem. I just wasn't that thirsty, but it wasn't that hot. But like, and also it was quite an effort to get my bottle out. It sounds silly. And I felt like every time I was doing something like that, I was wasting time because I was in that race mindset by now. I was like, oh, this is quite cool. And after an hour, that's when my power started dropping. And I was like, oh no. I kept saying to myself, I must back off, it's gonna bite me. it's weirdly, the run is like way my favorite bit. And that's where I struggle in triathlon, because it's the bike that then ruins my feel of the run and my love of the run. And it definitely, that had happened this time. I was like, as I set off, I was just like, my legs felt awful, which they're going to, like, everyone knows that, it's expected. But there's so many things that with the run, I didn't trust my body because I've been feeling so heavy. And I think that's why I enjoyed the bike, because the bike, I'm supported, like, by, you know, the bike is beating the gravity, and it's onto the run, it's like I actually have to lift myself up. And I went for like a little jog the day before and I felt so bad. I was like, just feel like all I want to do is lie down on the ground. So I set off and I was like, don't overthink it, because this is normal at the start. You're supposed to feel rubbish. And I also was like, obviously, I'm supposed to be presenting, so I had my GoPro, I was supposed to be doing bits to camera, and I found it just mentally hard. Like, I didn't have the energy in my mind and my body to like do that. I was like, it was weird. I just got into this zone and I was like, I'm just gonna run. So I ran the first couple of K. I was like, I'm not gonna look at my watch, but obviously when it beeps, I did. And I was like, oh gosh, that's quick, but it didn't feel quick. So I was like, well, don't overstress it. Just let it get slower naturally, because the last half I did was obviously, admittedly, in Abu Dhabi, and it was super hot. But I set off at this pace for the first, I think it was 7K, and then at 7K, it just hit me. I got an absolute killer stitch and I had to walk. And I'd felt great before that, so I was really scarred by that. I was like, and I remember getting to 7K going, it's still okay, like I'm still running. And my times just stayed the same as what they did at the start. And after the first few K, my legs felt like, they didn't feel great, but they didn't feel terrible. I was just running, and everyone was saying how hot it was, and it was hot, and I would have liked to have been cooler. However, I think just from the races I've done, and it's been really hot in the UK, weirdly, I was better prepared for the heat than, I hadn't heat prepped because we didn't know it was gonna be hot. But, and I was just like, I walked a couple of aid stations, even though I didn't need to. I was like, no, it's good to just back off now, rather than what I've done before, is just like think, this is all cool. And then the last 10K can be a very long way if it's gone wrong. And I was also getting confidence from passing people. I was like, this is cool. I'm passing all those men that went flying past me on the bike. And I was like, a little bit, like, yes, back at you. That's maybe a bit showing my competitive spirit. So maybe it was starting to bring out a little bit, but I didn't dare let myself start thinking of like, what could I do? I did at one point. I think the announcer was welcoming in the leading men, and was like, I literally just started on the run, and that's when I got a time. They were like 3 hours something, and I was like, oh, I've not even been racing for 4 hours yet.
There we go.
As you can tell, I'm on like the sort of mega high, yet in a slightly like kind of bizarre feeling that doesn't feel real. However, there's still this other element that is out of my hands. I don't know if I've qualified for the World Championships, because the prize giving and the slot allocation happens this evening, and we still don't have the final results because obviously everyone goes in waves. So I don't know if that effort, all my effort out there, was enough. And I feel this weird pressure as well. Like, I felt it coming into this race, that it's an amazing position I'm in, that we've got the support of GTN, and Rouvy and the AI training app HumanGo have already said that they are on board with my journey to World Championships. But I've been saying, like, I'm not qualified for World Championships yet, and I might not. And yeah, there's like, it's incredible that if I do, I will have this support, and then they're like, gonna have a structure, and hopefully I can really nail it. But if I don't, then I guess we're gonna have to like come up with another goal, because yeah, we've also got to make videos at GTN. This is like my job, as well as a real privilege to get to do this race. So I now just have a few hours to sort of sit and wait and find out if the dream comes true, and if I actually get that slot for Worlds. So yeah, we'll wait and see.
Representing our triathlon network that we all watch so passionately, your third place, she went 4:56 from Great Britain, Heather Fell. What a surprise that one, Heather.
This is so nerve-wracking, and the fact that I have no control of the outcome is quite unnerving. But it's also, just being in here is making me realise how many people are here who probably are hoping to get their slots, which is then making me realise how much I really, really, really want to go to Worlds, and actually means a lot. I've never been in this situation where I've really wanted it like this, so but all I can do is go and join the slot outcome, sit with my fingers crossed, and hope I've done enough. My age group were awarded just one slot, and the winner has accepted her place at Worlds, which means I have to sit here until the end when the additional 25 women's slots will be awarded. And I'm hoping that at least 2 of those are going to go to my category.
Great Britain's Heather Fell. Come on, Heather. Global Triathlon Network. Heather Fell qualifying for the Ironman Sydney World Championship. Dude, how good is that?
That was the mission.
I love it. On the podium, going to the World Champs. What a rock star.
I'm going to World Championships. Oh, I've got so many emotions right now. I'm trying to sort of compose them, but I'm super excited. And I've also had this weird feeling of relief because, like I said, I felt that pressure like for the channel as well. And it's so cool that now the journey to 2025 World Championships starts. Maybe I'll have a day or two's rest, and then it's going to be onto a human go and asking it to plan me 4 months of training so that I can actually raise my game, because I feel like I was very grateful to get this slot today. It's sort of rolled down. I have that weird emotion of like, do I deserve it? But I want to make sure that by the time I get to the World Championships that I have well and truly earned that spot. So yeah, it's going to be an exciting journey. We're going to be doing a few videos on the journey. Again, hence that pressure. So stay with us, and we're going to be sharing my route to Marbella. And for now, I'm just going to go and celebrate this one.